The real strength of America is when we are consistent with the values we assert. Think of the countries who would be willing to say, we made a mistake. We made a big mistake, and to make sure it never happens again, we're going to let the whole world know the mistake we made. It'll never happen again.
That was Vice President Joe Biden just moments ago with reaction to this new Senate CIA report. And joining me now is Valerie Plame, a former CIA covert operative. Good day to you. And what did you learn from today's report?
Good day to you as well. I'm happy to be here. This is a huge day in our history. As Vice President Biden just said, how important it is to let the world know that we're looking at through this report, what we did that was so wrong, so off from our values that we hold dear, and it's never going to happen again.
Let me read to you some of this rebuttal from former CIA directors. They are describing the program, disagreeing with the findings in this report, and saying it led to the capture of senior al-Qaeda operatives, removing them from the battlefield, disrupted terror plots, and added to what we knew about al-Qaeda as an organization, but not really digging into the details that are so exhaustively put forward here that suggest many of those types of claims we've heard for years to justify these programs were highly exaggerated and misleading. What do you make of that back and forth today?
Notice that those that are defending the use of torture, and I don't like to use that euphemistic term, enhanced interrogation techniques. It's torture defined under international law and our own law. They're the ones that were involved in it. And what we have is we're at a place now where we need to say that this was absolutely wrong. I read an op-ed piece by Jose Rodriguez in the Washington Post. He was in charge at the CIA when these programs were undertaken. And his argument was, well, you know, we at the CIA were told to do this and we got legal justification, and so we went ahead and did it, and now you're pulling the rug out from under us. The problem with that argument is that it really went out of fashion, I think, with the Nuremberg trials, that, you know, we were just following orders. Just because a government lawyer says something is legal does not make it so. And this is the fact that, you know, we've done these things and they say it's legal, completely, it holds no weight whatsoever.
Right, and Valerie,
it's wrong, it goes against who we are.
Yeah, and to that point, if you deceive your lawyer to get your clearance, you and your lawyer have a problem. But it doesn't mean that what you lied about is legal, right? And so one of the key series of allegations that is documented in many ways here is the notion that the Justice Department lawyers were repeatedly told things, and I was mentioning this earlier in the hour, that they even said at the time as they wrote their memos, if these facts change, our advice and authorization may change, and certainly they did. I want to just read one part from the new report on how brutal this was. It says the CIA led several detainees to believe they'd never be allowed to leave custody. They suggested to one detainee he'd only leave in a coffin. An interrogator told another he would never go to court because, quote, we can never let the world know what I have done to you, end quote. Also from the report, CIA officials threatening at least 3 detainees with harm to their families, including threats to harm the children of a detainee and to sexually abuse the mother of a detainee and cut her throat. Valerie, why do you think so many people in Washington are talking about whether that is effective? Whether U.S. officials threatening sexual abuse and murder to civilian innocents is effective instead of focusing on how it's already illegal, which we know, and how it's wrong.
The report, which I've only had a chance to take a quick look at the summary, it's absolutely repugnant. It's brutal. This was done in our name, the American people's name. Then, of course, the question becomes, well, was it effective? This is a huge debate. There's absolutely been, I completely refute the notion that, in fact, it led to some great breakthroughs in our intelligence and kept American lives safe and so forth. Those details are sketchy, in great dispute. And in any case, if it's done, if we do this, if we torture and do these programs, however you want, whatever you want to classify, sleep deprivation, waterboarding, and so forth, that if we do that, that makes us on the same level as our enemies.
Right.
And I don't think that's who Americans think that's who we are.
Yeah, that is well put. You were obviously, as many remember, caught up in a lot of this. There's an exchange in the report about the way that Secretary Powell and Rumsfeld were initially also kept out of the loop. I want to read to you one part of that and get your thoughts, because you know so much about the intrigue and the rogue efforts in that period. It says the National Security Council principals in 2003 concluded it wasn't necessary to have a full principals meeting to reaffirm the program. And a CIA email noted that separate from the official response, it's clear to us from some of the run-up meetings we had with White House counsel that the White House is extremely concerned Secretary of State Powell would blow his stack if he were to be briefed on what's been going on. What do you make of that, the notion that the heads of state and defense were deemed somehow inappropriate, out of the loop for these programs?
Yeah, it's hard to comprehend, isn't it? General Powell, in fact, did come out later very unequivocally said torture is wrong. They were right. He would blow his stack if he knew about it. I find that this is just, it makes me terribly sad that people talk a lot about, those that defend the report talk a lot about, well, this was in the context, in the weeks and months and years immediately following 9/11, it was a different context and so forth. That is when things are most bleak, that is when you are called upon to look at your values and go, is this who we are? Is this, how are we going to respond? We failed. And that's why this report, it has many flaws. I don't really understand why it cost $40 million and why they did fail to interview some of the principals involved.
Yeah,
I don't understand the politics behind that.
DOJ said they wouldn't allow the interviews. Go ahead.
Well, in any case, this is part of the story. This is the truth of what happened. And I hope it serves to a message to the rest of the world that we are a great enough nation to look at the places where we have gone wrong and said, this is not going to happen again. I understand that across the world, Marines and our embassies, our military is on high alert because somehow that this report is going to cause people to be angry with Americans. Well, I think that moment has passed. Newsflash, they are already terribly angry with us because of what we've done. This is not going, I don't believe that it's going to incite any more people to be any angrier than they already are with how we've conducted ourselves in our foreign policy, particularly in that time period.
Well, Valerie Plame, former CIA agent, you were there. Thank you for your perspective and expertise today, an important day. Appreciate it.
Thank you.